So CB and I were on the coast of South Carolina earlier this year, and we picked up a handful of new life listers. But one of our goals was to get a ruddy turnstone, a bird that I had seen in the past, but CB still needed. Not a particularly tough bird at all, but as usual, we couldn't find anything we were looking for. Saw some awesome feathered flyers like this wood stork and these roseate spoonbills and such, but it wasn't until we had given up on life and started snarfing cheeseburgers and fries with on-tap afternoon beer specials at a seaside bar with my brother and his wife that something finally happened. I glanced out the window at the surf hitting the beach and saw a small group of shorebirds running around near the rock jetty. I'm like, what's that? And almost before I could focus my camera, CB was out the back door and down the steps, marching across the sand with full gear, binos and camera all strapped in. Sure enough, they were ruddy turnstones, so we did meet our modest goal for the trip and got a few long-distance pics for posterity. But that was definitely not the highlight of this adventure. That came during a visit to a preserve further inland, where the somewhat rare purple finch had been seen over the past week. CB and I were staking out one of the bird feeders behind the main park building in a quiet, tree-covered garden area on the edge of the forest, when a couple of the little purplies finally appeared at one of the stations. About that time, a rather large birder guy stomped loudly into the back garden, almost shouting a conversation at his meek and nearly silent wife. They took up a position on the opposite side of the yard, and when he looked at the feeders, he immediately screamed, "Purple finch! Purple finch on the far right feeder!" He might as well have pointed an air horn at him and pressed the trigger. Shockingly, the birds didn't leave before we got a few desperate shots in the can, but they eventually got nervous and bailed on us as the man continued to bellow to no one in particular that with that one, he had seen 50 birds already and that he's calling it quits for the day. With his chest all puffed out, he paced around, gathering his gear and continuing his announcements, which let anyone within a quarter-mile radius know that he would be leaving to get lunch now, presumably to celebrate his grand victory. It was like if you were reading in a library and somebody suddenly burst in with a megaphone shouting, "I've read 50 pages today and I'm done. It was an amazing day of reading, everyone." So weird. But anyway, the old purple finch was a cool addition to our life lists, which were bumped up by 7 or 8 winged wonders on that trip. We're just hoping the local bird population didn't suffer any permanent hearing damage. Birds, Ringy out.